Hiya, this is Shauna from Rews, and you're listening to Rhino Radio.
So, how have things been since the release of Warriors?
Yeah, it's been interesting, obviously, because the world has been in a completely new kind of headspace, I suppose. Um, but no, it's been really good, and actually, it's been really productive in a way because it's allowed me to sort of connect with fans in a different way. Um, and I feel, there's been a lot of support for the album. I feel like it's actually nearly performed better than the first album, all considering, which is really interesting. It feels like things have really grown for Ruse. So yeah, it's been interesting, but yeah, I feel like it was a time to release Warriors because people needed that positivity, and they still do in this time. So yeah.
Right. So, what was the writing process like for Warriors? Like, how did you come up with the different songs for the album and put it together in the kind of track list it's in?
I suppose when I started writing for Warriors, I was kind of I don't know. I'm constantly writing like all the time, and always have different notes on my phone. Like if you see my phone, it's like filled to the gills with voice notes, and most of the ideas I don't end up developing because I'm just like, oh, what was that? But yeah, I think just during the process of writing Warriors, I kind of wanted to create an individual song, or sorry, for each of the songs to have a different journey. And I feel like, well, whenever I'm writing, I really want to create something that inspires people and makes them feel like they're not going through life alone, because we all have daily trials and tribulations, and there's things that are bigger than others, but it's really important to be able to discuss those things and be able to feel comforted and like you're not alone, and that it's not silly to feel something even small. So yeah, I suppose the whole process, I just wanted to have each of the songs that actually really mean something and that would inspire people to to deal with that situation. And yeah, I just kind of went that way, wrote it all on my laptop.
Nice.
I hope that answers the question.
That's fine. So, what are your thoughts on like the reviews of the album, the reactions from people who have listened to it?
Yeah, it's been really positive, which is great. I think there's yeah, people have kind of, I think there was a bit of pressure in some ways because it's the second album, and everybody always, it's kind of the thing that people say either make or break you as an artist. And obviously there was a bit of a lineup change and everything as well, so there probably was a little bit more pressure in that kind of in the release of it. But I was really, really pleased with everybody's reaction to it. And, you know, even just from a kind of, well, obviously it's important to appeal to the media as well, but I think most importantly, my fans really liked it, and I felt like they got something from it. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like really delighted.
It's so cute. I just love seeing musicians get so like excited when they see positivity on their work. It's just
Yeah.
adorable to me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's great. There's obviously, I think there's some, yeah, I don't know if there's any, well, if there have been negative words said about bits and bobs, I try to take it with as a constructive criticism, but I didn't really notice very much this time around, and it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I appreciate that, but yeah, nothing has really stuck out really badly, so that's good.
Right. So what's the biggest difference between this album and the previous album, Pyro?
Um, I suppose the biggest difference is that Pyro initially, a lot of those songs were actually written over, a number of years, really. And I'm sure you probably hear this said quite a lot anyway, but it takes you, your whole career up until the point that you release your first album, you've been writing for years and years and years. And then the second album comes and you're like, okay, well, I've got about a year to write this. So I think the difference there is that there was always an abundance of material previously that could have been chosen from on the first album. And then the second one, I suppose, well, I felt like anyway, because I do write quite a lot anyway. I just felt that it sort of is a bit more mature and the production values are much better on the second album. Um, yeah, and I don't know. I think from a writing perspective, not much had changed, even though there was a lineup change, because I was kind of always the main writer anyway. So yeah, I think that the two main differences, really.
Great. So who would you say are your biggest musical influences?
Good question. There's a whole range of people, but I suppose I sort of I'm quite inspired by kind of heavier stuff like the Deftones, and I grew up listening to a lot of Deftones when I was younger and absolutely loved them. But then I also really love Complete Extreme. So if you look at Tori Amos, for example, um, she is a massive inspiration to me because, well, she's got this amazing creativity where I don't know, she kind of writes a little bit more outside the box, which I really love. And then, yeah, I suppose like I love, I've recently actually quite got into Billie Eilish because I think she's brilliant. She's just fantastic. I just love the creativity there and the kind of vulnerability as well, actually. But yeah, there's a whole wide range of kind of people who I would be inspired by. And I think even looking back in the day, I really loved Heart as I was growing up. And my mom and dad were both in bands as I was growing up, so they would have inspired me when I was younger as well. So yeah, there's the whole range of people really.
I do like the variety there. Like
Yeah.
you could also have like the heaviness of Deftones, but also the alternative side of Billie Eilish. That's a really good combination of the two.
Yeah, thank you. It's good fun.
So, what does music mean to you?
Personally, I believe music is a therapeutic thing. Well, for me personally, I feel like I express myself best through music because sometimes I find it difficult to express how I'm feeling sometimes in real words. More so when I was younger. I feel as I've got older, I can kind of say how I feel a bit better. But yeah, it was always a way for expression in a way in which I felt I couldn't find words for. And I feel it's a way to connect with people in a more spiritual way without sounding too out there. I think that music it's a thing that actually speaks many languages, and you can connect with so many different people that you normally maybe wouldn't be able to without music. So that's what I feel music is. It's magical.
I love that. Sorry, I know it was a very deep one for that, but
I mean, I love deep. I love a good deep chat.
so it's a little bit difficult because obviously state of the world at the moment, but what would you say is your favorite performance that you've done so far?
Oh, that is a good question. Um, it's hard to say because I feel like, every gig has its own kind of beauty in a way. Um, but I suppose if I could really think back, like I can remember one of it's not really anything to do with brews actually, but I did a bit of session work maybe about 4 years ago with Snow Patrol actually. And the reason I say this one is because it's the first time I actually felt the voices of the audience hit me physically, and I could just feel the kind of hair standing up on the back of my neck, and that's just something that'll always stick with me because that was the first time I experienced that. But I just remember getting up and I was singing some vocals along with the guys, and yeah, just the feeling of everybody kind of as soon as I kind of walked on, even though they didn't know who I was, because like I'm nobody, but I just felt really welcomed on the stage, and I just was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So it was just yeah, it was at the MTV EMA Awards, which is class. So that would have been probably a standout show for me, really.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It was so cool, yeah. Biggest audience I've ever like sang in front of, but yeah. But like I mean, all the routes, because like even the smaller ones, I find, you know, for example, Nottingham in the Bodega, it's one of the best gigs in many ways because it's always jam packed. You've got the sweaty ceiling, everybody's jumping around, and it's just like seeing people singing along to the songs. That's just like, that was one of the last gigs we had done just before lockdown actually, and I was just it was like, yeah, beautiful kind of moment, just to kind of lose yourself with everybody. So
Oh,
yeah, that's the juxtaposition between the two.
beautiful. So I just noticed your Darkness shirt.
Yeah,
Absolutely love Permission
that's
to
great.
Land.
Yeah, it was
That's
yeah.
because I think if I remember correctly, did you toured with the Darkness, right?
Yes, yes. So that was amazing, obviously, and probably should have said that that was one of the most amazing shows as well. But it's just really hard to say. But that entire tour was amazing. So it's really difficult to choose one particular show. Um, the guys are amazing, like lovely people. Couldn't do enough for us, and their fan base were very, very welcoming, and everybody was there for the show, which is really good. Because normally when you do a support tour, people, well, not all the time, but for some acts, people don't arrive early enough because they just want to see the main act. So, which is understandable, but I feel like everybody who came to see The Darkness made sure they were there when the doors opened, and we played to the same audience, like full audience that The Darkness played to. So,
That's fantastic because I always have the rule of like if I'm there for just the support act, I just see the support act just to show my
yeah,
support for them because I'm there for
yeah,
them. But if
yeah.
I'm seeing like the main act, I'll arrive early and see all of the support because they do just an amazing job as the main, and everyone should see the support. And people might find new bands that they like. That's how I found like amazing new bands that I love.
Yeah, exactly. And the same here, actually.
So what's the most important thing to you working in the music industry?
Uh, that's a good question, actually. I suppose the most important thing is, well, I feel it's actually to work with people who draw kind of positivity out of you, and vice versa. Working with people basically that you can encourage and that they can encourage you, and you feel like you're a family and supporting each other. I think that's one of the most important things, because the music industry is really cutthroat, and there's a lot of sharks out there and a lot of not very I don't know, not very life-giving people. They sort of suck the energy out of you a little bit. So I think it's really important to be really true to yourself, and check in with your mental health now and again, just to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive people, and that you're not also the one who's drawing energy out of people. If that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the most important things for me.
Yeah, that's some really good advice to anyone who wants to work in the music industry as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's tough. Can be a tough place, but it's full of, yeah, there are some lovely people.
So just a final question to wrap things up. Obviously, we're in kind of limbo at the moment with lockdown. So what is next for Ruse?
Well, I suppose there will be some writing happening. There is, I'm trying to get some stuff together now actually. But the hopeful plan would be that there will be some more music coming within the next year, let's say. And I'm currently actually working on this amazing Femme Focus project. So I was doing a kind of Sunday series with different musicians, on kind of one cover and one Ruse song. But now, for the International Women's Month in March, I'm collaborating with two other amazing musicians in Bristol. That's currently where I'm based. And we've got 4 tracks from 4 really diverse, amazing women musicians. And we're going to I'm basically editing everything together now at the minute, but there'll be one coming out every Sunday in March, so people can keep their eyes peeled for that. Um, yeah, and I don't know, I'm just going to try and like stay as positive as possible, keep stuff coming online, and hopefully there'll be some great support tours and more music to come.